My name is Rick Kelly. I'm a guitar maker in Carmine Street Guitars. I make the Kelly guitars here in New York City. I've been in this store for 20 years, and I was around the corner on Downing Street back in the 70s, so a long time. The Bowery guitars are made from old timbers. They're all white pine that was harvested from virgin forests, trees in the 1800s. So most of them have been indoors in these old 1800 buildings for 150 years now. When the wood is that old and the resins are crystallized and the grains and the pores are open, they vibrate more. So they're perfect for instrument making. A friend of mine lives in the same building that Jim Jarmusch, the filmmaker, lives in, and he was taking some timbers out of the roof, and they both asked me if I wanted to use this wood for something, and I hadn't really thought about it too much, but I said, well, let's give it a try. Maybe I'll make you a guitar out of it. A lot of times they'll just be doing these buildings over and they just throw this stuff away, unfortunately. It's just primo wood. Some of them are some iconic buildings like the old Speakeasy Chumley's over on Bedford Street. They happened to be throwing this wood out when they were redoing the building. So I just happened to walk by one day and saw them putting it in a garbage truck and asked them if there was any available. They said, come back tomorrow. I got a truck and filled up a truckload the next day. Just recently, Walter Becker from Steely Dan just bought a couple, and I've known Lou Reed for many years. I made him guitars back in the 80s, and he just ordered 2 more of the Boweries since I started making these. Patti Smith Band has some, and G.E. Smith, a real good friend, has been coming in for years. Bob Dylan has several right now. I sold guitars to David Bowie back in the 70s too. So many great musicians because of my location. Building them is about the most rewarding thing I could have ever decided as a kid to do. When I was down in Maryland, sleeping in the wood chips, starting to learn to make guitars, and it was poor as a church mouse and had no orders, and I used to listen to Lou Reed and Patti Smith records because they reminded me of New York and home. Never in a million years did I ever think I'd actually meet them and become friends and make them instruments. So it's been really rewarding that way.